Everyone is quick to tell you to walk away when things get heavy, when progress looks slow and effort stops feeling rewarding. Quitting sounds mature when you're tired. It sounds logical when hope feels embarrassing. But there's a difference between protecting your peace and abandoning something that hasn't finished revealing its truth yet. Some people aren't lost. They're buried under their own mess. And patience isn't weakness when it's paired with awareness. You don't give up on something just because it's inconvenient. Not when you can still see the flicker beneath the damage, not when walking away would be easier than staying present. Not when your resolve is being tested to see whether it bends at the first sign of discomfort or stands when everyone else disappears, because sometimes the point isn't how fast things change. It's who stays. When changing hurts, not every struggle means abandonment, because struggle is loud, messy, inconvenient, and deeply misunderstood. People see resistance and assume failure. They see delay and label it dead weight. They see confusion and decide it's not worth the effort. That's how shallow judgment works. It confuses discomfort with futility. But struggle isn't a stop sign, it's a signal. A signal that something is being tested, shaped, pressured into becoming something else. And pressure doesn't destroy what has substance, it exposes it. Most people quit when effort stops feeding their ego, when progress isn't visible, when gratitude isn't immediate, when results don't perform on demand. They call it self-respect, self-care, maturity. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's just impatience dressed up in clean language, because staying present when nothing is improving fast enough forces you to confront your own limits, your own expectations, your own need to be validated for trying. Struggle makes people uncomfortable because it removes control. You can't fix it on command. You can't rush it. You can't guarantee an outcome. And humans hate investing without certainty. They want assurance before commitment, proof before loyalty, success before effort. But real connection doesn't work like that. Some battles aren't meant to be won quickly. Some people aren't meant to be understood immediately. Some situations exist to see who disappears when things stop being impressive. Abandonment is easy. It's clean. It gives instant relief. You walk away and tell yourself a story where you're the wise one, the one who knew when to stop. Staying is heavier. Staying forces patience. Staying forces observation. Staying forces you to separate ego from intention. Are you here because you want to save someone, or because you see something worth not giving up on yet? That difference matters. Not every struggle is a red flag. Some are growing pains. Some are internal wars you don't get to see the full map of. Some are people learning how to exist without the masks they've relied on for years. And when those masks crack, the process looks ugly. Confusion replaces confidence. Withdrawal replaces charm. Silence replaces performance. To the untrained eye, it looks like decline. To someone paying attention, it looks like exposure. People say, don't pour into broken cups. What they forget is that some cups aren't broken, they're being emptied of poison. And that process isn't pretty. It doesn't come with gratitude speeches or visible milestones. It comes with resistance, setbacks, and long stretches where nothing seems to change. That's when most people leave. Not because the person isn't worth it, but because the process doesn't reward spectators. Staying doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It doesn't mean ignoring patterns of harm. It doesn't mean sacrificing yourself for someone else's comfort. It means discernment. It means recognizing the difference between someone who is stuck and someone who is stagnant by choice, between someone who is fighting quietly and someone who is manipulating loudly. Staying is not blindness. Staying is awareness without panic. Struggle reveals character in layers. When things are easy, everyone looks stable. When pressure increases, defenses drop. The truth starts leaking out through behavior, reactions, silences. If you're paying attention, you learn more in the hard seasons than in the calm ones. You see whether effort is still present even when motivation disappears. You see whether accountability exists without applause. You see whether growth is trying to happen, even if it's slow and awkward. Giving up too early robs both sides of clarity. You never know if the struggle was temporary or transformative. You never find out if patience would have changed the trajectory. You walk away with assumptions instead of understanding. And assumptions feel lighter, but they're hollow. They don't teach you anything except how quickly you leave when things stop serving you. Not every person who struggles needs to be abandoned. Some need consistency, some need time without being pushed. Some need to know that effort doesn't disappear the moment they stop performing well. That presence isn't conditional on productivity. That someone can see them clearly without demanding immediate results. Staying isn't about saving anyone. It's about recognizing potential without romanticizing it. It's about seeing effort where others only see delay. It's about understanding that some transformations happen quietly, invisibly, before they ever show results worth bragging about. And when you choose not to give up too quickly, not out of guilt, not out of fear, but out of clear-eyed awareness, you're not just standing by someone else. You're proving to yourself that your commitment isn't fragile, that your patience isn't performative, that your strength doesn't disappear the moment things stop looking hopeful. Because real resolve isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It just stays when leaving. Would be easier, and watching someone figure themselves out takes more courage than walking away ever will. Patience can be a conscious choice, not a weakness, not a delay tactic, not something you're forced into when you run out of options. Most people treat patience like an accident, something that happens when action fails. They wait because they're tired, because they're confused, because they don't know what else to do. That kind of patience is passive, resentful, fragile. Real patience is deliberate. It's choosing to stay steady while everything in you wants resolution right now. People love speed because speed feels powerful. Fast decisions make you feel in control. Walk away quickly, cut people off cleanly, label situations and move on. It looks confident. It looks strong. But speed often hides fear. Fear of uncertainty. Fear of wasting time, fear of being wrong about someone you invested in. Patience forces you to sit in uncertainty without flinching, without rewriting the story to soothe your ego. Choosing patience doesn't mean ignoring red flags or tolerating damage. It means observing without panic. It means resisting the urge to react just to relieve discomfort. Most mistakes aren't made because people didn't know better. They're made because people couldn't wait long enough for clarity to arrive. They confuse urgency with importance. They rush to conclusions because waiting makes them confront their own anxiety. Patience is active restraint. It's watching patterns instead of moments. Anyone can look good or bad in a single snapshot. Consistency only reveals itself over time. Growth only shows itself under pressure. Intent only becomes visible when motivation fades. Patience gives reality enough space to expose itself without interference. When you rush, you interrupt the process and then blame the outcome for being unclear. People think patience means doing nothing. In reality, it means doing less of the wrong things. It means not forcing conversations that aren't ready, not demanding answers before understanding forms, not pushing people into versions of themselves they haven't built yet. It's the discipline of timing, knowing when action helps and when it contaminates. Conscious patience requires self-control, and that's what makes it rare. You have to resist the desire to be the hero, the fixer, the judge. You have to tolerate silence without filling it. You have to sit with incomplete information without inventing explanations that make you feel smarter or safer. That's uncomfortable. That's why most people quit waiting and call it decisiveness. Patience also exposes motive. If you're only staying because you expect a reward, recognition, or transformation on your schedule, that's not patience, that's a transaction. Real patience doesn't guarantee outcomes. It accepts uncertainty. It stays present without contracts. That scares people because it removes leverage. You can't threaten time when you're choosing to give it. When patience is conscious, it's paired with boundaries. You don't abandon yourself to prove loyalty. You don't tolerate disrespect to appear understanding. You remain observant, grounded, and intact. You allow space without disappearing. You remain available without chasing. That balance is uncomfortable because it denies extremes, and humans love extremes. They want all in or all out, stay forever or leave dramatically. Patience forces honesty about what you're really afraid of. Are you waiting because you see effort, or because you are scared to let go? Are you staying because there's movement beneath the surface, or because walking away would mean admitting the time you invested didn't pay off the way you hoped? Conscious patience demands brutal self-awareness. It doesn't let you hide behind virtue. Some people change slowly because their damage is layered. Some lessons don't stick the first time. Some growth requires repetition, failure, and quiet rebuilding. If you're watching closely, you can tell the difference between delay and denial, between someone struggling forward and someone standing still. Patience gives you the data you need to tell them apart. Impatience often disguises itself as self-respect, but true self-respect doesn't panic. It doesn't rush to protect itself from hypothetical futures. It trusts its ability to respond when clarity arrives. Patience says you don't need to control the outcome to maintain dignity. You don't need instant answers to remain grounded. Choosing patience doesn't mean you owe anyone infinite chances. It means you choose when to decide, not when your emotions push you. It means you let behavior unfold long enough to speak for itself. It means you don't sabotage understanding by demanding certainty too early. Most people regret the decisions they made in a rush, not the ones they delayed with awareness. They regret the conversations they forced, the exits they dramatized, conclusions they jumped to when emotions were loud and insight was quiet. Patience isn't about waiting forever. It's about waiting long enough for truth to stop whispering and start standing on its own without you having to imagine into existence. Growth often looks like stagnation because transformation rarely announces itself with fireworks. It's quiet, awkward, frustrating, and deeply unimpressive from the outside. People expect growth to feel like momentum, like clarity, like constant forward motion. But real change usually feels like standing still while everything inside you is being rearranged. Nothing seems to move, nothing seems to improve, and that's when doubt starts, whispering that nothing is happening at all. Stagnation is uncomfortable because it messes with your sense of progress. You're used to measuring improvement by visible results, milestones, applause, confirmation. When those disappear, you assume failure. But growth doesn't always cooperate with your timeline or your need for reassurance. Sometimes it pauses the visible world so the internal one can catch up. Sometimes it slows everything down because speeding ahead would only reinforce the same mistakes with better packaging. People panic in stillness because stillness exposes them. There's no distraction, no external validation, no movement to hide behind. You're forced to sit with who you are, what you believe, and what you keep avoiding. That's why many people escape stagnation instead of understanding it. They change environments, relationships, goals, anything to feel motion again. But motion without direction isn't growth, it's noise. Growth often dismantles before it builds. Old habits lose their grip. Old identities stop working. Old motivations feel hollow. From the outside, it looks like regression. Less energy, less certainty, less confidence. Internally, it's reorganization. The system is shutting down outdated software so something more aligned can run. That shutdown feels like nothingness, but it's deliberate. People mistake consistency for growth. They think if they're doing the same things every day, they must be progressing. But sometimes consistency is just comfort wearing discipline's clothes. Growth interrupts comfort. It challenges routines. It forces you to question patterns that once felt safe. When that happens, productivity drops. Certainty fades, direction blurs. That's not failure, that's recalibration. Stagnation feels threatening because it removes the illusion of control. You can't force insight. You can't rush maturity. You can't schedule emotional integration. These things happen when they're ready, not when you demand them. The ego hates that. It wants evidence. It wants timelines. It wants guarantees. Growth offers none of that. It asks for trust without proof. Some seasons exist purely to teach restraint, to slow your reactions, to weaken impulsive habits, to strip away identities built on performance rather than substance. In those seasons, doing less is actually doing the most important work. Learning to sit still without self-destructing. Learning to observe without interfering. Learning to wait without narrating disaster. People around you may misinterpret your stillness. They'll assume you've lost motivation, direction, ambition. They'll project their fear of inactivity onto you. They'll encourage you to rush, to act, to choose something, anything. But not all advice comes from wisdom. Some of it comes from discomfort with silence. Growth doesn't need to explain itself to spectators. Internal growth rarely aligns with external expectations. You may look unchanged while your values are shifting. You may sound quiet while your perception sharpens. You may appear stuck while your tolerance for nonsense dissolves. These changes don't show up on resumes or social feeds, but they determine the quality of every decision you'll make next. Stagnation is often the space where old patterns lose their power, where reactions slow down, where triggers don't hit the same, where you notice yourself pausing instead of exploding. That pause feels empty because it's unfamiliar. You haven't filled it with a new response yet. But that pause is where choice is born. Growth is subtle before it's obvious. It changes how you listen before it changes what you say. It changes how you perceive before it changes what you do. It reshapes your standards quietly, without ceremony. One day you realize you're no longer drawn to what once consumed you. That realization doesn't arrive with excitement. It arrives with indifference. People who quit during stagnation often do so right before clarity arrives. They confuse discomfort with dead ends. They assume that because nothing is happening externally, nothing is happening at all. They don't realize that the most important shifts happen below the surface, invisible until they're irreversible. Stagnation isn't the absence of growth. It's the incubation period, the part where roots spread deeper instead of branches reaching higher. Where stability is built before expansion is allowed, where strength forms quietly instead of loudly. Growth doesn't rush because it understands permanence requires patience, and what lasts is rarely created. In moments that feel impressive or productive, in stretches of time where nothing seems to move, and everything is being prepared to move differently than before. Loyalty is tested in difficult seasons because comfort never asks questions and chaos never tells the truth politely. When everything is smooth, loyalty is cheap. It costs nothing to stay when benefits are obvious and the road is clear. Anyone can smile, promise, and perform devotion when circumstances reward them for it. But pressure changes the rules. Pressure removes the audience, the applause, the certainty. That's when loyalty stops being a word and starts being behavior. Difficult seasons strip away convenience. They take away ease, predictability, and reassurance. What's left is choice. Stay or leave, observe or judge, support or disappear. Loyalty shows up not in dramatic gestures but in consistency when there's no immediate payoff. That's why it's rare. Most people don't abandon others because they're evil. They leave because discomfort exposes how conditional their commitment always was. People like loyalty when it benefits them. They praise it, demand it, expect it. But when it requires patience, restraint, or silence, suddenly it feels unreasonable. Suddenly it's called enabling, weakness, or foolishness. Difficult seasons make loyalty inconvenient, and inconvenience reveals priorities faster than any conversation ever could. Loyalty isn't blind allegiance. It's not staying no matter what. It's not tolerating harm or excusing repeated damage. That's confusion disguised as virtue. Real loyalty requires discernment. It watches patterns. It notices effort. It pays attention to whether struggle is paired with accountability or entitlement. Difficult seasons don't excuse behavior, they clarify it. When pressure hits, people reveal how they handle responsibility. Some withdraw, some deflect, some project blame, some confront themselves. Loyalty in those moments isn't about fixing the mess. It's about refusing to misinterpret it. It's staying present without rewriting reality. It's not abandoning someone just because their flaws stopped being theoretical and started being visible. Most people leave at the first sign of complication because they confuse loyalty with convenience. They think commitment should always feel affirming, energizing, validating. But difficult seasons drain energy. They ask for patience without guarantees. They require trust without evidence. That's when loyalty stops feeling good and starts feeling honest. Loyalty also exposes ego. Are you staying because you genuinely see something worth standing by, or because leaving would challenge the image you have of yourself? Difficult seasons force you to confront motive. They remove romanticism and replace it with reality. They show you whether your presence is rooted in clarity or attachment. There's a difference between loyalty and obligation. Obligation is heavy, resentful, transactional. Loyalty is deliberate. It chooses presence without expectation of control. It doesn't threaten departure to gain compliance. It doesn't weaponize support. It simply remains observant and grounded without turning patience into leverage. People often confuse boundaries with betrayal in hard times. The moment loyalty includes limits, accusations appear. You're told you've changed, you're cold, you're no longer supportive. But loyalty without boundaries isn't loyalty. It's surrender. Difficult seasons test whether you can stay without losing yourself, whether you can care without collapsing into someone else's chaos. Hard times also reveal who values process over performance. When someone is struggling, they're not polished. They're not impressive. They're inconsistent, uncertain, sometimes frustrating. Loyalty sees beyond presentation. It recognizes effort even when results are delayed. It doesn't require someone to be at their best to be worthy of presence. Many people claim loyalty, but practice convenience. They stay as long as progress is visible, gratitude is expressed, and outcomes align with expectation. The moment growth slows or becomes messy, they exit and call it wisdom. Difficult seasons expose that contradiction. They show who can tolerate ambiguity and who needs immediate resolution to feel safe. Loyalty doesn't mean ignoring red flags, but it also doesn't mean fleeing at the first sign of struggle. It means understanding the difference between resistance and refusal, between learning and repeating, between someone fighting their way through and someone refusing to move at all. That distinction only becomes clear over time, and time is the one thing difficult seasons demand the most. Pressure clarifies relationships faster than success ever will. Where everything is going right, roles blur and intentions hide. When things fall apart, behavior speaks plainly. Who checks in without being asked? Who listens instead of lectures? Who stays consistent when there's nothing to gain? Loyalty shows up quietly in those moments without announcements or guarantees. Difficult seasons don't exist to break loyalty. They exist to reveal it. They remove illusions and expose truth. They show whether connection is rooted in depth or dependency, understanding or expectation. And once you see how someone behaves when circumstances stop being kind, you can never unsee. Because loyalty under pressure isn't a promise. It's a pattern, and patterns die. Walking away is not always wisdom, even though it's marketed that way, polished, simplified, turned into a slogan you can hide behind when staying feels uncomfortable. Leaving feels powerful because it gives instant relief. The noise stops. The tension fades. You get to breathe again, and that relief is addictive. It convinces you that distance equals growth, that absence equals maturity, that cutting ties automatically makes you evolved. But relief is not the same as clarity, and escape is not the same as intelligence. People walk away for many reasons, but not all of them are noble. Some leave because they're scared of responsibility. Some leave because patience demands more self-control than they possess. Some leave because staying would force them to confront their own flaws instead of pointing at someone else's. Walking away can be wisdom, yes, but it can also be avoidance wearing confidence like a costume. Wisdom doesn't flinch at discomfort. It examines it. It asks questions instead of running from friction. It knows the difference between danger and difficulty. Many people confuse the two. The moment something stops feeling smooth, validating, or predictable, They label it toxic and disappear. That word has become a convenient exit sign. No investigation, no reflection, no accountability, just gone. Walking away too quickly robs you of information. It prevents patterns from fully revealing themselves. It keeps you operating on assumptions instead of evidence. You leave before behavior has time to repeat, before intentions have time to collapse or prove themselves. And then you call it intuition, when really it was impatience mixed with fear of being wrong. Sometimes staying a little longer is how you learn, not to fix, not to save, but to observe, to see whether effort exists beyond words, to see whether confusion leads to growth or stagnation, to see whether discomfort is temporary or structural. Wisdom doesn't rush to conclusions because it understands that clarity is slow and ego is fast. Walking away is easy when you frame it as self-respect. Harder when you admit it might also be self-protection from uncertainty. Staying requires emotional regulation. It requires resisting the urge to dramatize. It requires holding space without controlling outcomes. That's uncomfortable. So people leave and convince themselves they chose strength when they really chose certainty. Not every difficult situation is a trap. Some are tests, some are mirrors, some are lessons that don't repeat politely if you skip them. Walking away every time something challenges you creates a pattern. Different faces, same dynamic, different setting, same result. And eventually you start wondering why peace never lasts, why connections keep failing in familiar ways. Wisdom recognizes patterns within yourself as much as in others. It asks whether leaving is a response to reality or a reflex you've perfected. It asks whether you're protecting your boundaries or protecting your narrative. Because narratives are comfortable. They keep you from questioning your role. They let you walk away clean, unchallenged, unchanged. Staying doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It doesn't mean sacrificing your dignity. It means not confusing effort with outcome. It means understanding that some processes are slow, messy, and unflattering. Growth rarely looks graceful. It looks uncertain, inconsistent, frustrating. Wisdom knows that not everything unfinished is broken. People who walk away at the first sign of difficulty often mistake peace for absence. True peace isn't created by removing everything that causes friction. It's built by learning how to navigate friction without losing yourself. If you run every time tension appears, you never develop that skill. You just keep changing environments, hoping the next one won't ask anything of you. Walking away also feels good because it gives you control. You decide when it ends, you get the final move. Staying removes that power. It forces you to exist without guarantees, to watch without directing, to wait without knowing. Wisdom is comfortable in that uncertainty. Ego is not. Sometimes walking away is wisdom. When harm is consistent, when accountability is absent, when patterns are deliberate. But sometimes staying just long enough to see the truth clearly is the wiser move. Not forever, not blindly, just long enough to let behavior speak louder than fear. Because leaving too soon teaches you nothing except how to leave. It sharpens your exit skills but dulls your understanding. You become efficient at escape and inexperienced at discernment. Wisdom isn't impressed by how fast you can disappear. It's interested in how accurately you can read a situation before you decide. Walking away should be a conclusion, not an impulse. It should come after observation, reflection, and honesty, not anxiety and exhaustion. When wisdom is present, the decision feels grounded, not rushed, not theatrical, not fueled by the need to feel superior or untouchable. And sometimes the bravest thing isn't leaving or staying forever. It's resisting the urge to make a dramatic move just to escape discomfort, allowing the situation to reveal itself fully without interference, without panic, without pretending. That distance automatically equals growth when understanding hasn't even had a chance to form, yet some people need presence, not pressure, because pressure assumes speed is the cure, and presence understands timing is part of the problem. Pressure demands results, explanations, movement, clarity, while presence simply stays long enough to let reality surface. Most people don't break because they lack advice or motivation. They break because they're constantly being pushed to perform while they're still trying to understand themselves. Pressure treats struggle like a delay. Presence treats it like a process. Pressure sounds productive. It asks questions, sets deadlines, demands decisions. It feels responsible. It looks like leadership. But pressure often comes from discomfort with uncertainty, not concern for growth. When you pressure someone, you're usually trying to resolve your own anxiety about not knowing how things will turn out. Presence requires you to tolerate that anxiety without transferring it onto someone else. People under pressure learn to perform, not to heal. They say the right things. They promise progress. They mimic improvement to make the pressure stop. But none of that sticks because it wasn't integrated, it was extracted. Presence creates space where honesty can exist without consequence, where confusion doesn't have to pretend it's clarity, where silence doesn't need to be filled with rehearsed answers. Pressure assumes people change when they're cornered. Sometimes they comply, but compliance isn't transformation, it's survival. Real change happens when someone feels safe enough to admit what's actually wrong. Presence offers that safety. It doesn't interrogate. It observes. It listens. It allows patterns to reveal themselves without interference. Most people think being present means doing nothing. It doesn't. It means resisting the urge to control. It means staying grounded while someone else struggles without hijacking the process. It means not turning support into supervision. Pressure wants to manage outcomes. Presence respects autonomy. When someone is overwhelmed, pressure multiplies the weight. They're already carrying confusion, guilt, fear, or shame. Adding urgency only teaches them that their worth is conditional on progress. Presence teaches them that their value isn't tied to speed. That lesson alone changes behavior more effectively than any ultimatum ever could. Pressure also creates resistance. People push back, not because they don't want to change, but because they don't want to be controlled. The harder you push, the more they dig in, even if they agree with the direction. Presence bypasses that resistance by removing the power struggle entirely. There's nothing to fight when no one is forcing movement. Some people shut down under pressure. Others perform. Both outcomes look like failure from the outside. Presence allows a third option, honest stagnation, a place where nothing is fixed yet, but nothing is being faked either. That's where real assessment happens. That's where truth surfaces without being coached. Pressure is loud. Presence is quiet. Loud feels effective, quiet feels risky. Quiet forces you to trust that growth doesn't need constant interference. That's uncomfortable for people who equate value with activity. Presence challenges the belief that if you're not pushing, you're neglecting. Sometimes pushing is the neglect. People grow at different speeds because they're untangling different things. Some are unlearning survival patterns. Some are dismantling identities that kept them safe once but no longer serve them. That takes time. Pressure treats that complexity like laziness. Presence recognizes it as labor. Presence doesn't mean endless tolerance. It doesn't ignore patterns of harm or manipulation. It simply refuses to confuse urgency with effectiveness. It waits long enough to see whether effort exists beneath the struggle, whether accountability emerges without being demanded, whether awareness grows when space is provided. Pressure creates short-term change and long-term resentment. Presence creates long-term change without spectacle. It doesn't get credit quickly. It doesn't look impressive, but it allows people to arrive at conclusions they can actually live with, not ones they agree to just to escape discomfort. Many people think they're helping when they're actually hovering. They monitor, remind, correct, intervene. They don't realize they're communicating mistrust. Presence communicates confidence without words. It says you're capable of finding your footing without being dragged there. When someone feels constantly evaluated, they stop exploring. They choose the safest response instead of the honest one. Presence removes the scoreboard. It allows mistakes without humiliation. It allows reflection without defense. That's where responsibility becomes internal instead of enforced. Some people don't need another lecture, plan, or ultimatum. They need someone steady enough not to panic while they're figuring things out. Someone who doesn't confuse delay with failure. Someone who understands that growth often starts the moment the pressure disappears and the noise finally quiets enough for self-awareness to speak without being interrupted. Faith in others requires discernment, because belief without awareness is just blindness dressed up as hope. People love the idea of faith when it sounds soft, noble, forgiving, but they get uncomfortable when you tell them faith is supposed to think, observe, and decide. You ever notice how people start looking up when things go wrong? Oh, when life's all sunshine and smooth roads, they don't ask questions. They don't wonder who's in charge, but the second things start falling apart, oh, that's when they start praying. That's when they start begging, whispering into the dark, hoping someone's listening. Funny, isn't it? People only remember to trust when they've got nothing left, when their plans fall apart, when their strength runs out, when the ground underneath them cracks open and swallows everything they built. That's when they start asking the big questions. People like to think trust is easy, that it's just a feeling, a warm little thought you keep tucked away for the bad days. But trust, real trust, oh, it's not built in the good times. No one learns to trust when everything's working out, when the sun's shining, when life is going exactly the way they want. No, no, no. Trust, real, unshakable trust, is forged in the fire, in the mess, in the storm. It's not tested when you have options. It's tested when you have nothing. You ever see someone drowning? Oh, it's not like in the movies. There's no screaming, no big dramatic struggle. No, they go quiet. They panic first, fight against the water, try to grab onto anything, everything, but the more they struggle, the faster they sink. And then comes the moment of surrender, the moment they stop fighting, the moment they trust the water to carry them instead of destroy them. That's the moment they start to float. But most people, oh, they never make it to that part. They waste all their strength kicking, clawing, fighting against something they were never meant to beat on their own. And by the time they realize it, it's already too late. People want trust to come with proof. They want to see the outcome before they take the step. Give me a sign, show me how it all works out first, then I'll believe. Ha! That's not trust, that's a business deal. And life? Life doesn't work like that. It doesn't give you guarantees, it doesn't hand you a map with a big red X marking the finish line. No, it hands you a blindfold and says, walk. And the ones who do, the ones who keep going even when they can't see a thing, oh, they're the ones who make it through. You ever see a kid learning to jump into a pool? They stand on the edge, looking at the water, looking at the person waiting to catch them. Jump, they're told, but they hesitate. Why? Because they don't know for sure that they'll be caught. They don't know for sure that they won't sink. The person standing there, arms open, telling them it's safe. Oh, that should be enough. But their little minds race. What if? That's the real battle, that little whisper of doubt. It keeps them frozen. But the second they stop listening to it, the second they jump, they realize they were safe the whole time. Do you ever notice how people trust the ground beneath their feet without even thinking about it? They step, they walk, they run, never once questioning if the earth will hold them up. But the second they step onto a shaky bridge, onto something unfamiliar, something uncertain, oh, that's when the fear kicks in. That's when they hesitate. That's when their legs start shaking, their hands grab for something solid. But here's the funny part. The bridge was always going to hold. It was built to carry them. It didn't become weak just because they were afraid. But their fear? Oh, their fear made it feel that way. People think trust is about feeling safe, about feeling certain. But trust doesn't start when things make sense. It starts when everything falls apart, when the walls close in, when the road disappears, when every single thing inside you is screaming to run. That's when trust is built, not in comfort, not in control, but in chaos. Because trust is believing there's a way out even when you can't see it. Trust is stepping forward even when your legs don't want to move. Trust is holding on even when the storm tells you to let go. Most people, well, they only trust when they don't have to, when everything's clear, when everything's easy. But the ones who trust in the middle of the storm, the ones who hold on when everything is screaming at them to give up, oh, they're the ones who make it through. They're the ones who see what was always there, waiting for them just beyond the chaos. But to get there, you have to trust before you see, before you understand, before it makes sense. Because trust isn't tested in comfort, it's tested in chaos. People, they love to think they're in control. That if they just plan enough, prepare enough, push hard enough, they can make life bend to their will. They map out their future step by step, every little detail lined up just right. But then, then something happens. Something unexpected, something big, and suddenly all that control they thought they had, gone, ripped away like a cheap trick at a bad magic show. And that's when the panic sets in. That's when they start clawing at the edges, trying to hold it all together, trying to force things back into place. But control? Control was never theirs to begin with. You ever see someone try to catch smoke? It's funny. They reach out, fingers grasping, thinking they can trap it, hold on to it. But the harder they try, the faster it slips through their hands. That's control. A pretty little lie people tell themselves to feel safe. They think if they hold on tight enough, they can keep everything just the way they want it. But life doesn't work that way. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't follow their plans. It moves how it wants, when it wants, and people are just along for the ride. You ever watch a man fight the wind? It's hilarious. He braces himself, pushes forward, determined to move in the direction he wants to go. But the wind? Oh, the wind doesn't care. It shoves back harder, stronger, until he's struggling just to stay on his feet. He can fight all he wants, waste all his energy trying to overpower something bigger than him, or he can stop. Let go. Let the wind take him where it's already going. But most people? No. They'd rather fight until they've got nothing left because they think giving up control means losing, when really, it's the only way to win. You ever notice how people trust a plane to take them across the sky without ever seeing the pilot? They don't walk into the cockpit, demand to check his credentials, make sure he knows what he's doing. No. They just sit down, buckle up, order their little drinks, and let the plane carry them. They don't question it. They don't try to take over. They just trust. But when it comes to life, that's a different story. They want to be the pilot. They want to steer, control every little detail, make sure things go exactly the way they think they should. But here's the problem. They don't even know how to fly. People want guarantees. They want to know how it all works out before they take a step. Show me the full plan, then I'll trust. But that's not how trust works. Trust means moving forward when you don't see the whole picture. Trust means letting go even when everything inside you is screaming to hold on. Trust means stepping into the unknown, knowing, not hoping, not wishing, but knowing that you're not walking alone. But people don't like that part. They fight it. They grip tighter. They make their little backup plans, their escape routes, just in case. Because real trust is terrifying. You ever watch a tightrope walker? The way they move, slow, careful, balanced, every step calculated. But the real secret, it's not in their feet. It's in the net below them. That's what lets them walk without fear, because they know if they fall, they won't hit the ground. And life is the same way. There's always a net. But most people, they don't trust it. They waste their energy trying to build their own safety nets, trying to make sure they never fall. But the funny thing is, the only way to really move is to stop worrying about falling, to let go of the illusion of control and just walk. People think control keeps them safe, that if they just plan enough, worry enough, fight enough, they can protect themselves from the unknown. But control is a cage, a nice, shiny cage that makes them feel safe, but keeps them trapped, keeps them small. Because the moment they stop trying to control everything, the moment they let go, that's when the real magic happens. That's when they finally see they were never the ones holding it all together. That's when they realize the only real power they ever had was in surrender. Silence, it drives people crazy, doesn't it? They can handle noise, chaos, even pain, but silence eats away at them. They ask, they beg, they cry out, and when all they get in return is nothing but quiet, that's when the doubt creeps in. That's when they start thinking maybe no one's listening, maybe no one cares, maybe, just maybe, they're on their own. And Ooh, that terrifies them because people, they need answers, they need signs, they need proof that everything is going to be okay. But when all they get back is silence, that's when they break. That's when they start making their own way, their own plans, because if they can't hear anything, then surely nothing is happening. But that's the real joke, isn't it? Because silence doesn't mean absence. You ever see a seed grow? Oh, it's not like in the movies where things bloom right in front of your eyes. No. First, it goes underground, buried, covered, hidden where no one can see what's happening. And from the outside, it looks like nothing, just dirt, just emptiness. But underneath, underneath, something's happening. Roots are forming, growth is beginning, but people, they don't like waiting. They don't like not seeing. So they dig it up, try to check on it, try to rush the process, and what happens? They kill it before it even has a chance to bloom, because they didn't trust what was happening in the silence. You ever watch a movie with someone who can't stand suspense? They start asking a million questions. What happens next? Who's the bad guy? Do they make it out alive? They want to skip ahead, ruin the whole story just so they can feel better right now. They can't handle not knowing. But the best part of the story, it's always in the waiting, in the build-up, in the quiet moments before everything falls into place. But people, they don't want the wait. They want the answer now, and if they don't get it, they assume there isn't one, that the story isn't going anywhere, that they've been abandoned in the middle of it. But the real ones? The real ones know. You've got to sit through the silence to get to the payoff. You ever see a musician tune their instrument before a big performance? It's strange. Sometimes they go completely quiet, listening, adjusting, fine-tuning every little thing. And to the crowd, it looks like nothing's happening. It looks like a waste of time. But that silence, that's where the real work is. They think if they don't hear anything, if they don't see any movement, then nothing's happening at all. They don't realize the best things, the strongest things, the most important things, they always happen in the quiet first. You ever watch someone lose their mind when their phone stops working? It's hilarious. 1 second they're fine, the next, pure panic. They shake it, they smack it, they restart it over and over because the idea of being disconnected, even for a moment, is too much for them to handle. They assume the worst. It's broken, it's gone, I'll never get it back. But most of the time, all they had to do was wait. Let it reset, let it work itself out. But no. They jump to conclusions. They assume the silence means the end. And life is no different. You ever sit in a waiting room? The boredom, the frustration, the impatience, it eats at people. Because they don't know when it's their turn. They don't know how long they'll be sitting there, and the not knowing, that's the worst part. But here's the thing. Just because they don't hear their name being called right now doesn't mean they've been forgotten. It doesn't mean nothing's happening behind the scenes. It just means they have to wait. But most people Oh, they don't want to wait. They start pacing, complaining, looking for a way out because they think if they don't hear something right now, then nothing is happening at all. People think silence is empty, that if they don't hear an answer, then there isn't one. But the ones who understand, oh, they know better. They know silence isn't the absence of something, it's the presence of something bigger. They know that just because they don't see the plan doesn't mean there isn't one. They know that the most important moments, the moments where everything shifts, where everything changes, they don't come with fireworks and loud voices. They come in the stillness. They come in the waiting. They come in the silence. Fear? Oh, it's loud, isn't it? It doesn't whisper. It doesn't knock politely. No. It kicks down the door, stomps right in, makes itself at home. It doesn't need permission. It just shows up, sits in your head, and starts talking. And the funny part? Oh, people listen. They hang on to every word, nodding along like it's some wise old friend giving them good advice. But fear? Fear doesn't tell the truth. Fear lies. And oh, does it lie well. You ever see how people react to the dark? Doesn't matter how old they are, doesn't matter how tough they pretend to be. Put them in a pitch black room and suddenly they start imagining things. Their hearts race, their breathing gets shallow, and ooh, the mind. Oh, the mind goes wild. Every little sound turns into something dangerous. Every shadow hides something sinister. But is there actually anything there? No. It's just the unknown messing with them. Just their own thoughts turning against them. And that? Oh, that's fear. It takes what isn't there and makes it feel real. It turns whispers into screams. It makes nothing look like everything. And the best part? People believe it. You ever watch someone standing on the edge of a diving board for the first time? Oh, it's fascinating. They know the water will catch them. They know they'll be fine. But still they hesitate. Why? Because fear is screaming at them, telling them every possible thing that could go wrong. What if you hit the water wrong? What if you sink? What if? And they freeze. Because fear isn't just loud, it's convincing. It knows exactly what to say, exactly what buttons to push. And most people, most people listen. Most people back away. Most people never jump. You ever see a little kid learn to ride a bike? Oh, at first they're fearless. They hop on, ready to take on the world. But the second they wobble, the second they almost fall, oh, fear grabs them by the throat. And suddenly they don't want to try anymore. Suddenly their mind isn't thinking about moving forward. It's thinking about hitting the ground. And that's all it takes. One little whisper from fear, and suddenly what was possible, people think fear is there to protect them. Oh, they think if they just listen to it, if they just play it safe, if they just stay inside their little comfortable bubbles, then they'll be fine. But fear isn't there to keep them safe. Fear is there to keep them small. Because when fear takes over, it doesn't just stop them from making bad choices, it stops them from making any choice. It keeps them stuck, keeps them afraid to move, keeps them too busy listening to its lies to hear anything else. You ever notice how fear never really goes away? Oh, it might get quiet for a little while, it might step back when things are easy, but the second things get uncertain, the second the road gets dark, oh, it comes roaring back. Because fear loves the unknown. It feeds on uncertainty. And the louder it gets, the more people start second-guessing, doubting, hesitating. Fear wants them to believe it's the only voice that matters. And the second they believe that, oh, it's got them. But there's something funny about fear. Oh, it's loud, it's persuasive, it knows exactly how to push people into a corner. But fear has one weakness, one little flaw, and it's this. It only has power if you listen to it. The second you stop treating it like the truth, the second you stop letting it tell you what's possible and what's not, oh, it loses its grip. Because fear isn't real. It's just noise, just a trick of the mind. Just shadows in the dark. You ever see someone walk through a haunted house? Oh, they scream, they jump, they clutch their chest like they're actually in danger, but the moment the lights come on, the moment they see what's really there, oh, suddenly it's all funny. Suddenly what felt so real turns out to be nothing but smoke and mirrors. And fear? Oh, it's the same way. It only works in the dark. It only works when you believe it. The moment you stop, the moment you step forward anyway, that's when you realize, oh, you realize fear was never real in the first place. People love control. Oh, they crave it. They want everything to make sense, to follow their little plans, to fit inside their neat little boxes. And when things go wrong, oh, they panic, they scramble, they start playing tug-of-war with life, thinking if they just pull hard enough, if they just force things to go their way, then everything will be fine. But control is an illusion, a joke, a magic trick they play on themselves to feel safe. And the best part? Oh, they never see the punchline coming. You ever watch a gambler at a slot machine? Oh, it's fascinating. They sit there pulling the lever over and over again, thinking that this time, oh, this time, things will go their way. They believe if they just keep at it, if they just push long enough, they can make the machine do what they want. But the machine, oh, the machine doesn't care. It doesn't play by their rules. It does what it wants to do. And the gambler keeps pulling, keeps hoping, keeps believing that control is just one more spin away. But control never belonged to them. You ever see someone stuck in traffic, gripping the wheels so tight their knuckles go white? Oh, they honk, they curse, they check their watch every 5 seconds like that's gonna change anything. They think if they just get angry enough, if they just want it bad enough, the road will magically open up for them. But the road? Oh, the road doesn't care. The cars don't move just because they're frustrated, but they don't see that. No. They cling to the illusion of control, thinking their frustration will somehow fix the situation, but control control was never in their hands to begin with. You ever watch a kid build a sandcastle? Oh, they work so hard, shaping it just right, making sure every little tower stands tall. But then a wave comes in, and in seconds, gone, washed away like it was never even there. And the kid has two choices. They can scream, cry, get mad at the ocean like it's personally out to get them, or they can laugh. They can start again. They can accept that the tide comes and goes no matter what they do. But most people never learn that lesson. They spend their whole lives trying to stop the waves, trying to control something that was never meant to be controlled. People think if they try hard enough, if they work hard enough, if they worry hard enough, then they can make life bend to their will. They think if they just grab the wheel with both hands, they can steer things exactly where they want them to go. But life has a sense of humor. Life loves to remind people just how little control they really have. An accident, a missed opportunity, a storm that wasn't in the forecast, and suddenly all those carefully laid plans, poof, up in smoke. And that's when the real fun begins. You ever see someone try to swim against the current? Oh, they fight, they struggle, they push with everything they have, thinking if they just try hard enough, they can overpower the water. But the water doesn't fight back. It just moves, it flows, and the harder they fight, the more exhausted they get, until eventually they sink. But the ones who know, the ones who understand, they don't fight the water, they don't resist, they float, they go with it. They let it carry them. And that is the secret most people never figure out. People act like letting go is losing, like surrender is weakness. But the real joke, fighting for control is what makes them weak. It drains them, it wears them down, because they're battling something they were never meant to win against. The ones who really win, they're the ones who let go. The ones who stop fighting their fists and start opening their hands. The ones who stop trying to control everything and finally start living. People like guarantees. They love them. They want certainty, promises, contracts signed in ink, some little slip of paper that says, yes, yes, everything will be just fine. But life? Life doesn't hand out guarantees. It doesn't owe anybody a thing. And that drives people mad. Because deep down they want to know that if they do everything right, if they follow all the rules, if they check every little box, then they'll get what they want. But life laughs in their faces. You ever see someone buy a lottery ticket? They stare at it like it's magic, like it's got some kind of hidden power. They hold on to it tight, whisper little prayers over it, believing this one's different. And when the numbers don't match, the disappointment, the anger, the betrayal. Like the universe owed them a win. But that's the trick, isn't it? They put their faith in something they knew wasn't guaranteed. They knew the odds, but oh, they didn't want to believe them, because people don't want uncertainty. They want promises. You ever watch a kid stack up a tower of blocks? Oh, they build it so carefully, piece by piece, making sure every little part fits just right. But then someone walks by, bumps the table, and crash. It's all over. And the kid loses it. They scream, they cry, they act like the world just ended. Because in their little mind, that tower was supposed to stay standing. It wasn't supposed to fall, but that's the game, isn't it? Nothing stays up forever, but people never grow out of that. They build their lives, their plans, their dreams, and when something knocks it all down, oh, the outrage, the heartbreak, the why me? But the truth? Oh, the truth is, it was never promised to stand in the first place. You ever see someone try to predict the weather? Oh, they check their phones, listen to the experts, plan their whole day around what the forecast said was going to happen. And then rain. A storm when the sky was supposed to be clear. And the reaction? How could this happen? The app said it would be sunny. Because people, they put their faith in predictions, in probabilities, in best guesses dressed up as certainty. They need to believe that someone somewhere knows exactly how things will play out. But the world? Oh, the world doesn't follow their scripts. It does what it wants. And people? Oh, people never learn. You ever watch someone put their whole heart into something? A relationship, a job, a dream, thinking this is it, this is the one, this is my future. And then it falls apart, and they stand there, staring at the pieces, trying to understand what went wrong, because they did everything right, didn't they? They followed all the steps, played it safe, made all the smart choices. But that's the joke, isn't it? Because no matter how careful they were, no matter how much they deserved a happy ending, life never guaranteed them one. But they believed it did. And that's what makes it hurt the most. People act like trust means knowing how everything will turn out, like faith is just another word for certainty. But real trust isn't about knowing, it's about not knowing and moving forward anyway. It's about stepping onto a bridge when you can't see the other side. It's about walking in the dark without demanding a flashlight. It's about saying, all right, fine, I don't have all the answers, but I'm still here. But most people, they don't like that. They want guarantees before they take the first step. They want to know how the story ends before they agree to play the part. But that's not trust. That's a contract. And life, life doesn't sign contract. You ever see someone close their eyes on a roller coaster? They're terrified, gripping the bar like it's the only thing keeping them alive. But the ones who trust, they raise their hands, they let go. Not because they know exactly what's coming next, not because they have some special guarantee that everything will be fine, but because they choose to trust the ride. And that is the difference. Most people spend their whole lives gripping the bar, afraid of the next turn, demanding guarantees that will never come. But the ones who really live, oh, they raise their hands. They let the ride take them, and they trust.